Hey guys, it's Abby here. So have you ever had an LCD panel on your printer that every time you try to pull it up to work with it, it always just falls back down? Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to fix that. First thing we need to do is we need to take the screws off of this top cover here that's on top of the LCD panel. Once we take those off, you can just pull that right up and that should come off. Then we're going to have 4 screws that are holding the LCD panel down. There's 2 on the left side, and then there'll be 2 on the right side. The 2 on the right side are under that cover that I lifted up that are on top of the ink tanks there. And once you get those off, then you just pull the LCD panel, and you've got to be careful because it's still connected to everything, so you don't want to just yank it off. I take it and I just lay it inside the printer as I'm working on it. This way all my connections to my cables are still intact. So there's going to be 4 screws on the back plate of that LCD panel, and that's what we need to work on taking off to get to the hinges, because the hinges is what is broken and why the LCD panel keeps falling down every time you try to pull it up to push any keys on it for your printer. So here I am taking off that back panel and exposing it, and here's where we see the hinges. So we see the hinges and they're screwed down, and that's where I'll have to unscrew it. And I'll go ahead and show you a close-up of what's wrong here. So I had to dig this one out of the trash actually because I forgot to show this part, but so it's missing that metal clamp, but I'm going to show you the part that's broken there. I'll push it through with the dentist tool, but this part's broken, and there will be that metal clamp that holds this down and pinches it, in place to keep this secured. But this is the part that's broken, and I'm just showing with my fingers here that that's where that metal clamp would go down. So this is the part that we replaced on the LCD panel. You just got to make sure that it's for the correct side of the LCD panel that you're replacing it for. So I went ahead and replaced that for the correct side and screwed that hinge inside of it. And I'm putting my back cover back on and screwing my 4 screws back into it, my 4 silver screws. Okie dokie, so now we got that ready. We can sit that back down. And really, if both of them are wiggly, really you don't want that black piece on the hinge that lays on the outside of the LCD panel. You don't want that to be able to wiggle. But really, I've learned that you only need to replace one of them to make one of them that is sturdy enough to make sure that the LCD panel is not going to move. So here I am, I've replaced that, and I've put my 2 screws back on each side of them, the left side and the right side, and I'm putting my top cover back on, screwing in my screws to keep that held down. And as you can see, I only replaced one hinge, and even though that other hinge was still a little wobbly, you only really needed one. Happy printing!